Will Rich here, and we see a pretty big sell-off in the markets today and yesterday. We were watching some moves here this morning. Big Bear AI is one to watch, as well as SOXS. We talked about it yesterday. We're kind of looking at this fund that goes up when the market goes down. It's a semiconductor swing inverse. And yesterday we were talking about it, maybe making this 10% swing. It actually made a larger swing than that. It actually continued up about 13% in that trend up to $8. Then we see the market after a pretty aggressive pullback at market open. We see things start to recover just a little bit. And that's kind of what we're looking at now. So we got BBAI for today. We're going to take a look at it real quick. We see after earnings, they recovered up to about $6.22, found a resistance, sold back down to this level, and then now establishing what could be a push back up into that support level around 550. We've been watching that 550 range for a while. There is a previous resistance right here that they bounced today down around 524, still holding above $5.24. So that's how the near term looks for Big Bear, trying to hold again above $5, but again trying to hold above that $550 range so it can maybe make this run back up into that $6 range. Now we see, again, pretty aggressive sell-off in the markets. We kind of talked about it this morning. We're able to keep our portfolio up just a little bit with some trades on SOXS and AIBD is one that we talked about this morning in our daily live trading session. If you guys ever want to tune on into our daily live trading, it's the second link in the description down below. Now for Big Bear AI, what most people don't realize is that Big Bear AI is super volatile, as are most AI companies in the early stages. So there's uncertainty on the short term, and there's also some turbulence in the medium term, which we're going to go into related to some recent deals that they just kind of maybe got swept out from underneath them from another company called Clear. And that's an interesting one to look, Clear Secure. And we're going to go over that. We're also going to go over what is a change in the dynamic of some of their focus, and that they now are maybe shifting more towards the events space, which we've talked about and isn't a bad place to be for the company ahead of the World Cup and also the Olympics in the US. So that's going to be something we'll follow closely, and we're going to break it down in this video. If I earn your thumbs up, hit the like button, make sure to subscribe. And just one more time before we get into it, if you do want the lifetime access to Stockmate, which is where we trade live every morning, it is disappearing at the end of this month. So it's going to a recurring model, just like you get the live sessions every morning at market open. It's going away. And for a limited time, we have a special offer for Stockmate that's part of this AI movement that we're capitalizing on, and not paying recurring, but getting full access to our daily live trading, seeing what trades we are doing and that you can learn from as well, and exactly how you can build some step-by-step plans for your own investing, whether it's long-term or short-term. So again, it's going away, and as a bonus, you get a free t-shirt. So if you want to grab it, just check the second link down below for Stockmate. There was a recent focus for this AI company on building out what is their connections through the CEO. So the CEO previously working in the Department of Homeland Security and U.S. Customs and Border Protection has had the company working aggressively to expand their VeriScan into many different markets. Now, we saw a lot of big institutional buying in the company, especially after their recent earnings. When they sold off, they had some more institutions buy in. So why is that? Well, one thing to note, TSA was looking for this TSA contract for biometric screening. Now, one thing that recently happened, I don't know if this is true, but I'm going to, I think it's called Clear Technology TSA or something like that, where they just were potentially selected by TSA. So this is TSA and Clear launch new e-gates at airport security checkpoints. So this here is interesting because one of the deals we were looking for was for Big Bear to get this TSA reduce reliance on manual labor, incorporate AI-driven threat detection along with biometrics and digital IDs. And then today we see that Clear Technologies, this is an hour ago, basically came out with this article. Well, there's a couple articles coming out around the facial recognition to verify travelers' identities, and that they are going to, it says, Clear says the new technology is part of a larger effort to make airports more efficient and secure ahead of 2026, which is set to be a blockbuster year for travel, United States, with events like FIFA World Cup. So Clear comes in and says, we're getting this, we're running a pilot program under TSA supervision, meaning the trial isn't being funded by American taxpayers. So it's not maybe a legitimate, contract just yet. And you kind of see the same thing with Big Bear. They're both kind of working. So this is pretty good. This kind of shows that you get markets that are competing in a sense between Big Bear and Clear. And if I'm not mistaken, Clear, so the biometric e-gates debuting at 3 major US airports as of recent news, and they plan to expand. Now, Big Bear AI is already they're at about 12 airports right now, but these are the airports that they're going to: Seattle, Ronald Reagan National Airport, and Hartsfield Jackson, Atlanta. So in Georgia. So they are expanding. Clear is expanding. So then you look, okay, isn't this a publicly traded stock? Clear Biometrics stock. I know it's not called Biometrics. Yeah, ticker symbol YOU. So YOU. So it's interesting. This is a company. Let's see how they kind of reacted today. Clear Secure. They're down 1%. We see them kind of having some growth as well, but they've really kind of consolidated from left to right, and now they're kind of in the same ball field, competing for the same contracts as Big Bear. Now we know that the TSA said for this biometrics they weren't going to be going with Leidos anymore, and they're planning on going with a new company. And so if that's the case, and we see Big Bear also gearing up, like you could look at Big Bear, they're saying we're looking to build out immigration border transformations at Accenture, which is a really a big global and U.S. contractor for what is their defense. They're more of a defense company. And that Big Bear is also preparing for 2026 FIFA World Cup and other things. And they got into about 12 to 15 airports. So, this is interesting. You got a company like Clear maybe getting the contract. Just recently today, Big Bear, you can see, and Washington Commanders forge a landmark partnership. So what we got going here, Big Bear, a leading provider of mission-ready AI solutions for national security and critical infrastructure, today announced a multi-year partnership with Washington Commanders, under which Big Bear AI becomes naming rights partner for the Commanders training facility in Ashburn, Virginia. Kind of interesting, huh? Why is that? In addition, Big Bear AI branding will be featured across 5th floor suite level of the Northwest Stadium, at suites, entrances to the stadium, and much more. Now it says Big Bear is going on offense, and this partnership exemplifies our strategy, said the CEO. We're stepping into national stage with one of the NFL's most recognized franchises. Partnership marks the first in the series of decisive moves we are taking to strengthen our position and unlock the next chapter of growth. Now it's a training facility combined with Big Bear's stadium presence. All right, is there anything around the actual working with them? Big Bear is proud to be part of this region, delivering innovation right here in our backyard. There's nothing about maybe in advancing performance, progress, and meaningful engagement with our fans and community. So, we kind of talked about how Big Bear, for example, was focusing on not just the airports, which they have been in, but that they partnered with SoftPoint for payments, and that they had this, for example, this LinkedIn post come out that said they were looking at mega events. So now this is where things get interesting, right? So let's just do a quick little research. This article, what stadium is this stadium? 162 acre training complex. This stadium it's the training facility. Okay, and it's now named the Big Bear Performance Center. And so what is interesting is Washington, it's the Washington Commanders, right? This is the NFL team. Washington Commanders Stadium. It is the Northwest Stadium. Now, here's an interesting thought. What I wanted to know is, okay, so that's the stadium. What stadiums? Let's see. What stadiums are in the World Cup? You got MetLife. You got AT&T. Here's the stadiums that we're seeing here in the US. Atlanta, Boston, Dallas, Houston, Kansas City, New York, Philadelphia, San Francisco, and Seattle. Those are the stadiums that are being performed in. So I was curious. I was like, I wonder if this is a World Cup stadium, but it's just a training facility. So maybe pretty strategic, a little bit out of left field for the company to make this partnership, unless there was something that we were looking at as they reached out to a bunch of companies. They wanted to get a deal as fast as possible so that you could see this is at suites entrances to the stadium on the team's practice jerseys and on other key assets. Big Bear will continue exploring opportunities where the company's technology and expertise can enhance the fan experience. So in other words, like imagine you do a biometrics on like purchasing your ticket and you just walk through and they scan your face and you're good. That's kind of like maybe the route they're going. And so the question is this maybe something where they could expand into new stadiums ahead of big events? Because they talk about mega events without being able to say much. I mean, that's the facts. They didn't mention that was the main goal of what they were doing, but they did have this post where they said, we're thinking about mega events like the World Cup and the Olympics. You know, when it comes to their recovery today, we saw them dip down and then they're up about 2.75% so far. That's the type of news that I'd like to explore more though, because I'm okay with it. You know, creative outlets, we just got to make sure that it is aligned with the overall mission for the company. And we can see, you know, how that kind of plays out. Being the Washington Commanders team, it kind of sounds crazy, but there are certain things like that company is now going to show up for all of the, for example, congressmen or people that are in the government that go down into Washington, D.C. and watch the Washington Redskins play, right? Isn't that like kind of an interesting approach? So I think, if I'm not mistaken, or not Redskins, Washington Commanders in DC, are they? Yeah, they're in Washington DC, so they're right next to Big Bear, Maryland. Maybe it was an easy partnership they could make there because they're right next to them. And I would love to hear your thoughts. We do see them breaking out a little bit today, holding above that EMA. While most stocks were in the red today, we could see Big Bear maybe pushing up a little bit further up into that 565 range, which is a nice recovery after yesterday, and they're getting back up there. So nearest support again, we're going to see if they hold it here at 550. It's a little weaker now because they just broke it, but they did reestablish a new level there at 525, which could be good. So we're going to watch here. This is 7% swing. Recovery in total from there would be about a 15% swing up to $6 a share. So we'll be watching them closely. And when it comes down to technical analysis, if you guys would like to learn more, it's the second link in the description. Every single time members want to get up to speed with the markets, they just tune in to our daily live trading session. You can just check your email right in the morning, 6:30 a.m. on the Pacific Coast. Super convenient on the East Coast, a little bit later in the morning. But You could tune in, listen to our live sessions. I'll even send you a free t-shirt when you join. And also you get access to our community of like-minded individuals and investors where we come out with the best plays in AI, some of the little known companies in quantum, as well as in technology that are growing right now. So again, if you want to join us there, I would encourage you. It's the second link down below. Have a look there as lifetime access is expiring. It's going away here soon. So feel free to take a look. Thanks so much for tuning in. If I earned your thumbs up, smash the like button, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.